The retirement of hockey jerseys. Different teams have done it different ways. Now, let's take the Montreal Canadiens, for example. They have tons of numbers of great players where they have retired the jersey number. And people wonder now why some of the current Montreal Canadiens skate around with number 75 on the back of their uniform, or number 59, or number 62. Why are the numbers so high? Because the Canadiens over the years have retired a lot of numbers. The Philadelphia Flyers, they have retired only 4 numbers since 1967, which was the first year of the team. And it looks like they're about ready to retire a 5th number. You have number 1 that's retired. That's Bernie Parent. You have number 4 that's retired. That's great defenseman from the 1960s and 70s, Barry Ashby. You have number 7 that's retired. That's Bill Barber. He was on the famed LCB line, Leach, Barber, and Clark. He was a well-known goal scorer. He was also the coach of the team at one point. And you have number 16 retired. That's Bobby Clark, who is now the vice president of the hockey team. He was also the general manager one time, and he was also their star player during the 60s, 70s, and 80s, mostly the 70s. They might be retiring number 2. Number 2 was worn by a couple different players. But primarily the guy that they're probably going to retire for is Mark Howell. Mark Howell was the son of Detroit Red Wing great Gordie Howe. Mark Howell wore number 2. He was a great defenseman for the Philadelphia Flyers. But there are other Flyers that wore number 2 that were great also. You had Dmitry Yushkevich. You had Ed Van Impe. He was the guy that threw the body check into Valery Kharlamov of the Russian Army team on the day back in, I believe it was 1976, when the Soviet Red Army came and played all the NHL teams. They played the Philadelphia Flyers. Flyers won the game 4-1. And Ed Van Impe just came up and gave a body check that sent Kharlamov into the middle of next week. Ed Van Impe wore number 2. Bob Daly, he was another one. He wore number 2. But I noticed something just today. The Flyers yesterday made a trade with the Dallas Stars where they sent a couple draft picks to Dallas for a stay-at-home defenseman. And you hockey people will know what this term means. You can explain it to the non-hockey people. Basically, a stay-at-home defenseman means he's not interested in scoring. He's interested in keeping the other team from scoring. He kind of like plays more of a defensive game rather than an offensive game. But the Flyers made a trade with Dallas for a guy by the name of Nicholas Grossman. So I went over to Dallas's website. I also typed the name Nicholas Grossman in Google search, and it showed quite a few clips of Grossman playing with the Dallas Stars. Grossman wore number 2. I went and I checked the Philadelphia lineup today to see what number the Flyers were going to give him to wear. Flyers gave him number 8. That could mean that they're avoiding giving number 2 out to other players because they could possibly be thinking about retiring the number. And the most prominent name that comes to mind is Mark Howell. But you know there were a great amount of Flyers that wore number 8. Dave Hoyda, Dave the Hammer Schultz, Mark Recchi, and one of our greatest defensemen ever, Brad Marsh. Now it's going to be Nicholas Grossman's number. And hopefully Grossman will become a Flyer that everybody will be talking about in the future. But now let me throw the question out to a lot of you. Okay, everybody that's watching this video lives in a different city. Some of you are hockey fans. And are there numbers on the teams that you follow that are retired? And what numbers are they? What players are they? Do you think they should follow the Montreal example of retiring every number coming down the pike and ending up with players wearing number 75, number 78, number 92? Or should they just limit it to a few great players? That is the question of this video. That's the whole reason I did the video. Do you follow the Montreal example, or do you follow the Philadelphia example? Let me know in the comments, or do a video. And as usual, thank you for allowing me to bore you, and have a great day. Bye. And Nicholas Grossman, if you're watching this video, I'm not in Philadelphia right now, but welcome to the city. I used to live there. That's why I follow Flyer.